G'day, welcome to Mt.Coramba Apiculture. It's the 11th of December 2021. Just back looking at our 7-frame Flowhive 2. You might recall in the last video we had a bit of an interruption with progress, I guess. There was significant brood break in the hive. So what I mean is that there was a little bit of cap brood. I couldn't find any eggs or larvae. So usually what that means is, it can mean a few things. It can mean they're queenless and they need a new queen, or they can be in the process of replacing a queen. So technically they're not queenless, they just got an unmated queen in there that's going through that process of mating and getting ready to lay again. So we've had a couple of nice sunny days. It's a little bit overcast now, but it's still a good day for beekeeping. I just thought I'd come back and have a look. One of the things I recommend that people do is just wait. You know, if there's a problem with your hive, if it's not, you know, an immediate disease problem or something like that, but more relevant to requeening, if you just give the bees time to sort themselves out. They know what they're doing. So if people often come to me and worried about their hive is queenless, and my advice to them is always, look, just give them a week or two and see what they do. They may have swarmed, they may be in the process of superseding the queen, and just because there's a break in the brood doesn't mean that they are queenless. So I've taken my own advice and I've waited and just come back and had a look through this hive, and there's a beautiful queen in there. She is a good size, lovely golden colour, and looks like she's really well mated, so a lovely big abdomen full of eggs. And yeah, so that was nice to see. You can see the bees clumping around her there. She's down on the bottom of that cage there now, so yeah, that's good to see. So she's only just started laying in the last 2 or 3 days, I would think. So there's a frame of wet brood in here. We'll just go through and have a look at it. So that's the wall frame, frame of honey. We'll probably take that out. Second frame is honey as well. So, and we might replace that as well. It's a bit, you could do with, it's a pretty old frame, it could do with replacing. So third frame feels a bit lighter, and there's no brood in there yet. You can always tell they're hopeful, so when they clear that space, they'll clear it of honey and pollen and give a space for that new queen to lay. So that's what they're doing there. So fourth frame in, this feels really light, and that is full of what we call wet brood. So eggs and young larvae sitting in a pool of worker jelly. So it's a bit hard with this sun just gone behind the clouds, but I can clearly see a full frame of wet brood in there. So that's good. So I think she's only just started laying on that frame there. So go further in. This frame feels a bit heavier and it's full of pollen. So when you get that brood break, the bees tend to backfill those brood frames with pollen and honey, so they'll clear all that out to give a space, and we'll give them a bit of a help with that as well. Just a little puff of smoke to push those bees down. Yeah, quite a bit of pollen in that frame. A lot of flatweed out at the moment. They're doing really well. Quite heavy, it's full of pollen. A little bit lighter, but once again full of pollen. And as this queen starts to lay and that brood starts hatching, they'll use that pollen up to feed the young bees. There's a frame of, this will be a frame of honey, and it's quite heavy, so that's a full frame of honey. So what I'm going to do is just free a bit of space up in this brood box, because this queen's going to get going again. So what I'll do is take out these 2 wall frames of honey. I'll push these frames back towards the wall and put a couple of fresh frames of foundation in there, just to give her a bit of space, because when she starts laying they'll take off again. So we'll do that now. Pull those couple out. Frame of foundation in there. Pull that across. Grab this wall frame out, it's full of honey. This one back, which was second from the wall. So that's that frame of brood, of open brood there. So I want to keep it nice and compact in the middle. Pull this back. Pull that frame of foundation in there. That'll just give them something fresh to build on and when that queen gets going. This last frame here, it's a little bit crooked, and the sides of the honey surface of the comb is actually touching the walls of the box. And I don't want that, because if you get beetles in there, they'll slime the hive. So I'll just put this one back. It's a little bit thinner. And that's better. It's not touching the sides of the hive walls. Really important, if with beetle control, never let the surfaces of the 2 combs touch, or the surface of a comb touch the wall, because they'll be slimed out within a couple of days. So that's good. We've identified this hive has got a queen. I'll just let her go. There she goes. So that's good news. So let's put this hive back together, and we'll have a look at the flow frames again. So let's have a look at how these are progressing. So nothing there. A little bit of work going on there. Once this hive picks up again and that queen gets laying and the population increases, there's a real good flow of flatweed on here at the moment. They're like a little low dandelion type thing, and the bees do really well on them. Great pollen and great nectar. So you can see that them working away there. I think they've actually done a bit since last time we looked. There you go. That's good. So they'll start picking up again now. It might take a good month or so just to boost those numbers. If I wanted to give them a bit of a lift, I could put a frame of cap brood from another hive in there. That'd certainly increase the numbers. I think we'll just let them go as they are, just to show that You know, hives can get setbacks and pick themselves up. Push all their frames up. That's good. So, just to recap, if you get a bit of a brood break like that, just give the bees time to sort it out. Give them a week or two, provided the hive strength is okay. Give them a week or two just to sort it out. I'd like $1 for every time someone's put a new queen in a hive that's already got a queen in it, because it's in the process of requeening, and the beekeeper just couldn't recognise that was the case. So always give your bees time. Always go back to my point that work in these brood boxes is completely dependent on hive strength and nectar flow, and where they're failing here is hive strength. We're on a good nectar flow, so once this hive picks up in strength, there's only one frame of brood in there at the moment. Once that queen gets going, she looks really good, and that first frame looks great. We've given them a bit of space with a couple of frames of fresh foundation, so they should take off again now. However, it's going to be, you know, another month or so before they really hit their straps. So hive strength, nectar flow, and the success of a flow hive has nothing to do with waxing frames, spritzing sugar syrup, or any of those silly things you see on Facebook flow hive sites. It's just complete and utter garbage. So there you go. We'll revisit this again in a week or two and see how they're going.